Hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, playfastfootball.blogspot.com. Today we're going to talk about speedball tempo. In some of our previous blogs, we've talked a little bit about no-huddle offenses, tempo offenses, and the first thing I want to do is kind of delineate or separate the difference between the two. When you're talking huddle or no-huddle offense, you're basically just talking about the method of communication between a coach and their players. So, when you have a team in the huddle, what you're basically doing is that's the method of communication you choose to use to get the plays transferred from the offensive coordinator to his offensive unit or the 11 guys on the field. Usually involves getting the quarterback to play and then the quarterback telling all the players in the huddle. It might be a wristband where the quarterback gets a play off a wristband and tells all the players in the huddle. You might run guys on and off where you run receivers or backs on and off and you give them the play to send into the quarterback. Some teams to this day still bring the quarterback back and forth to the sideline to get the play. But basically when you're in the huddle, that was the original means of communication between a coach being able to get all the information that he wanted to all of his players through the quarterback in the huddle. So if you're a no-huddle team, that means you just choose to use some type of signals or wristbands or something that you can do at the line of scrimmage without having to get your team into the huddle to communicate all of your information to all of your offensive players. Now, because you're a no-huddle team doesn't mean you're an up-tempo team. You could be a no-huddle team that uses 25 to 30 seconds on the clock, but you don't huddle up and your information is communicated from the sideline to the players on the offense using some type of signals or wristbands or some form of communication to get everything you want across from your offensive coordinator to your players. That would still be not huddling up, okay? But if you're going to be a tempo team is going to be a team that's not only no huddle, but they're going to try and snap the ball every 15 to 17 seconds or every 12 to 15 seconds, depending on the types of tempo that you're using. So what we're going to talk about today is a speedball tempo, okay? And a speedball tempo means this is probably the fastest you can possibly play with your offense. All right, so use the term, whether it's fastball, speedball, the term is meant so that your kids understand that this is the fastest we can possibly play. Okay, so usually when you're talking about tempo teams, a lot of the best tempo coaches in the country are going to talk about fast, faster, and fastest. All right, so fast would be the method of operation that you would want to use, where your guys would get the signals, they get into formations, and they would run that play, as fast as they possibly could. And that would be just a basic no-huddle structure. And that would be, pretty much a fast tempo. If you're not freezing or checking at the line, that would be a fast tempo to say, hey, look, we got to get a signal, get lined up, and snap the ball as quick as we can. A faster tempo would be possibly, getting plays that, you don't have to change personnel on the field. You're still changing formations, but you're not changing personnel. So now you're playing a little bit faster because you're not changing your personnel groupings, but you are changing formations, so you're playing a little bit faster than your normal pace. And your fastest would be no personnel changes and no formation changes. So your fastest tempo, and for us what we call our speedball tempo, all right, that would involve having no personnel changes whatsoever and no formation changes whatsoever. That's going to be how you can play the fastest that you possibly can. And I'm going to add, one thing to that to explain how we play the fastest we can. And for us, when we go speedball or for our fastest tempo possible, we're going to run the same play out of the same formation with the same personnel group, okay, over and over again until we decide to kill that tempo. And normally I just give a kill signal to the quarterback to let him know to get out of that tempo. All right? So what you have to be able to understand is any team can be a no-huddle team. Any team can be a tempo team. The schematics of your offense have nothing to do with being no-huddle or up-tempo. Now everybody pretty much correlates spread football with no-huddle football or up-tempo football, but that's not really what you have to do. To be up-tempo or no-huddle, you just need a method of communication to your players, or a method of communicating to your players what your offensive structures and your offensive play calls are. Any team, whether they're I, Power I, West Coast, Flexbone, any team can be no huddle to up tempo if they want it to be. because it's just a method of communication. How fast can you streamline the communication to get things from you to your players? And it doesn't involve the schematics. There are no X's and O's or schematics involved in up-tempo no-huddle football. Anybody can do it. Okay, we can run, we can run 21 personnel, and we can run zone, power, counter, drop back pass, play action pass. We can run all that out of a no-huddle up-tempo system. All right, we can be a flexbone team, and we could run midline, veer, rocket toss, all the base plays in the flexbone, and be no-huddle up-tempo. We could be a wing T team, and we could run buck sweep, we could run belly, we could run belly option, we could run scissors, crisscross, counter, or we can run waggle, all out of a no-huddle up-tempo, setting. The offense that you're using really doesn't necessarily affect if you're a no-huddle up-tempo team. All right, so anybody can be no-huddle up-tempo. But I think the thing that allows some of the spread teams to do it the best is being in the shotgun with built-in run reads and throws that a quarterback can make allow the tempo to be the most effective. Not only is it the spreading of the field, all right, with receivers out wide and 2x2, 3x1 are empty, but it's the fact that the quarterback in the shotgun has a ton of run reads he can make with a tailback or a pistol back or a fullback, but you also have access throws and free throws built in that allow you to play faster. All right, so what we're talking about here is if you're going to be an up-tempo team, you have to have answers built in at the line of scrimmage because you're probably not building in a check with me system. So in other words, your quarterback isn't being taught to check at the line. So you need answers that are built in at the line of scrimmage. On some of my earlier blogs, we've talked about access throws, and we've talked about how to be an up-tempo team. And today we're going to build all that together into our speedball tempo, because our speedball tempo is one formation, one play, run until we don't want to run it anymore. But what you have to understand is anybody can do that. You can come up to the line of scrimmage in a pro I and run power every play until you decide to kill it. Yes, you can do that. Okay? You could run trap every play until you decide to kill it. You could run buck sweep every play until you decide to kill it. Okay? But the problem with that is, if that's the only play that you have called, and that's the only design you have, without having to check at the line of scrimmage, you're really not going to be able to use speedball or up-tempo, because if the other team lines up a certain way to stop that play, or the numbers aren't right in the box, or the angles aren't right to block that play, you don't have another answer to go to. Okay, so for us, when we're in our speedball tempo, we have to have plays that we feel give the quarterback a chance to get in and out of good situations based on what the defense decides to do. Because, the first time you come out and run it, you're usually coming from the sideline, the defense is going to have a call, they're going to be lined up, ready to go. The second play that you run in the speedball tempo, now all of a sudden you're on the line of scrimmage getting ready to snap that ball as soon as the referee set it ready for play, and now the defense may not be able to get lined up. Okay? Now after they figure out that tempo, now they're going to be able to start getting calls in. Certain defenses may have zone blitzes, automatic checks, or automatic dogs that they go to. So you really don't know what the defense's answer is going to be to your speedball tempo. So what you have to have is you have to have plays that have built-in answers, for possible zone blitzes or pressure or a front that you weren't expecting. So you have to give your quarterback answers if you want to be able to play at that style of tempo. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw up one of our key screen plays, out of a 2-back personnel set here, 20 personnel, 2 back, 3 wide. So what we would do is we would, in the huddle on the sideline, we would give our team coming from the huddle on the sideline at the first play of a drive, we would say, hey, we're going to run this play and we're going to go speedball. And what our players know is that we want to run that play out of that formation every time until we kill the speedball tempo. So if we were to come out of the huddle with our key screen, which is our inside veer out of the pistol, which replaces zone read for us, so it's really our answer to zone read, key screen, or bubble screen. So we would come out and we would run our veer play here. We would arc release this fullback for an overrun by the mic. We would take that wide receiver in stock. We would take this receiver and back out. We would go front side veer here, okay? And then on the back side, all right, we would have some routes that the backside single away from the run can choose from. All right, some weeks they're different. They might change from hitch or fade or slant or out. All right, but we're going to have a backside one-on-one match, all right, that we talk about, we call access throws. We're going to have a backside one-on-one match that we think we can win based on what the defense does. Okay, so what now happens when you're running speedball tempo, all right, we have our base, all right, veer, our inside zone read, you call it the Zier, all right. This is our inside veer blocking zone read scheme, all right, reading C-gap defender to alley defender, okay. So we're in 20 personnel running our base zone read Zier play with a key screen tagged to it. So what the quarterback now has is the quarterback has triple option theories to the front side, okay. So you now have a play built in that gives the quarterback options within the play. Okay, so it's not like we're running power, counter, toss every single time, and it doesn't matter what the defense does. We have given the quarterback a play that gives him different opportunities to do different things with the football. Okay, so we come out and we run the Zier play, all right, and we're going to read C-gap to alley defender here, all right, but we also have an access throw built in on the backside. So now what happens when we're trying to speedball, all right, we want to run this play as fast as we possibly can, all right, and in order to do that, all right, we have to give the quarterback some answers to what the defense is going to do. All right, so we want to line up in this formation, run this play, and as soon as this play's over, regardless of who gets the football, as long as we don't turn the ball over, we're going to line up just like that on the football again, all right, and it involves no players switching sides, it involves no personnel changes, so we feel like regardless of who got the football, we can get the ball to the referee, get it, set it, line up in this formation, and rip that play again as soon as the referee sets the ball ready for play. All right, because it's triple option, we feel like in the run game, if we're playing base defenses, we feel like we should have enough answers for the quarterback, all right, because C-gap defender's got a dilemma, alley defender's got a dilemma, all right, so we feel like within the option game, as a speedball play, it's a good play for us because just because the defense knows it's coming, all right, they can't elicit the same response every time because if the end wants to crash, well, we're going to pull and go to the perimeter. If the end wants to sit, we're going to give the veer into hopefully what are good numbers in the box. Okay, so one thing that you have to be able to understand in your speedball tempo is you want a play that gives you a couple good answers. Okay, because the next thing you've got to be ready for, all right, is what's going to happen now when the defense starts to make adjustments. So now, after you run that play one time and the defense figures out that you're going at that tempo with that personnel group, the next thing they might do, all right, is their answer to speedball might be some type of, all right, zone pressure, where now, all right, when they get the speedball, they're going to take, this side maybe and loop them under. They're going to bring this guy off the edge now, all right, and they're going to roll this safety down, all right, roll this safety back over and feel like maybe that'll give the zone read a couple issues. If the quarterback pulls off the end diving inside, now he's got to throw right off the Sam coming off the edge, and we've got a drop down free safety that's going to be able to help us on the alley screen. Okay, so one of the answers might be, all right, might be for them to come with zone pressure. All right, now we've created a three-man surface here, all right, with our H-back, all right, but our H-back would have to be able to pick up and win possibly off the edge of the blitzer here to give the quarterback a chance to either keep off of that block or throw the alley screen. But in other words, the defense has done something that's changed up, all right? They've changed how they play that Zier play, all right? And this is just an example. It could have been a six-man zero pressure. It could be anything you want it to be, but it could be something that disrupts the play other than just base defense, okay? So what happens now is within the speedball tempo, we're not changing the play. So in other words, we don't get a chance to see these guys roll and spin and give the quarterback another play to check to. All right? So when we're going speedball and we're ripping this play as fast as we can, we have to have an answer. Well, if we got some type of spin or rotation that way, and they were giving us a one-on-one, okay, they want to give you a 1v1 on the backside. Well, now you don't have to call a different play. Your quarterback can just go, if he gets the hard zone blitz with the rotation, your quarterback can just go back to the 1v1 on the backside, and now, without having to change personnel, formation, or call, you come right up onto the ball, your quarterback is ready to go, he just says down set hut, takes the ball, and he comes back out here and he tries to win that one-on-one matchup to the X. Okay? So now, without calling a different play, without audibling at the line of scrimmage, without checking your play at the line of scrimmage, you get up on the ball to rip your tempo, your speed ball play, they spin those safeties hard, okay? Now your quarterback has a chance to possibly go back to his one-on-one. All right? So within that play, we feel like we've given the quarterback a bunch of different options. All right? We've given the quarterback a bunch of different options here to say, hey, if that's not there, all right, or if you get their answer is zone blitz or man blitz or zero pressure, go back here to your one-on-one matchups and try and win one-on-one. Now, does that mean it's automatically a good play? No. If their corner's better than your wideout and he locks them down over there and they bring pressure, it might even be zero pressure to where, you know, they're getting home on the zero play, they're playing the quarterback, they're playing the bubble, you have nowhere to go with the ball, and you go backside one-on-one. All right, well now when you go backside one-on-one, okay, and you go backside to that one-on-one issue right there, if their corner's better than your X, or maybe your quarterback isn't the greatest thrower, even though you're going backside to that one-on-one, that doesn't mean you're going to win. But what you've done in a speedball situation is you've given your offense a chance to come out and say, hey, look, you know, we absolutely love what we're getting here. All right, let's come out and go speedball with our zero key screenplay, okay, and let's run that until they take it away. All right. Another thing, you know, a lot of times for us, we like the the triple option theory with free throws on the backside. You know, so for us, you know, another speedball situation could be 2x2. Another speedball situation could be 3x1. Could be any one of those situations that give you option football or that give you a chance to put the football into someone's hands while giving your quarterback a chance to get you out of a bad play. All right, so it could be, you know, it could be your 2x2 zone screens. All right, so you could get into 2x2. And now again, it all depends on how the defense is going to play, but it could be any one of those theories right there where it's 2x2 speedball, and now you might be, you know, running inside veer with key screen to number one, and now on the backside, you've got built-in matchups on the backside to those two receivers that you got to win somewhere on the backside to where it's hitch fade over the top, zone screen inside on this side, veer here, screen here, all right, all with built-in or different options that give you a chance to win so you can stay in speedball tempo, all right? You know, one of the other things you may do, you know, you may be a draw screen team, so, you know, you might possibly live in the two-back world where maybe you're a draw screen or a stick screen type team. You know, so maybe it's some type of theory where you're gonna try and, one of the ways to help you versus zone pressure is if you create three-man surfaces to make it tough on them. So one of the things you may do is you may live in a world where you love throwing stick here, taking this fullback right here, motioning him out to become a blocker for that X or Z, I'm sorry, and running one-step screen here, all right, with an inside zone or veer play here, locking on, instead of veer blocking, locking on and reading the front side mic to say, okay, now if the mic widens out with the fullback, all right, now we're going to run the inside zone play. If the mic sits inside, all right, now we're going to go to a possibility of having stick to the Y or screen to the Z based on how that Sam linebacker is apexing it or defending it, okay? All the while knowing that you still have your one-on-one game to the backside to say that, okay, if they want to be a team that when they get motion, they spin down an extra player, all right, and then they bump the Sam out, and now they've got the mic in the box for the zone, they got the safety down for the stick, and they've got this guy out here to help on the screen. Now your quarterback can go right back to one-on-one, all right, on the backside. So now you've got a built-in zone, screen, stick game, all right? You've got a built-in draw, read, stick game here. You're not running a draw play, you're actually running inside zone. You've got stick, one-step stand-up screen with a lead blocker, and now you've got one-on-one to the X on the backside. Okay, so either way, if you live in a world where you have package plays with runs and passes, all right, you can live in a world where you can go a lot of speedball tempo. Okay, the most famous of all these was probably done, 2 or 3 years ago when Ole Miss played in their bowl game, and they're not the only team that's done it, but several teams have done it before, and they came out and basically Ole Miss was in a bowl game and they ran 5 plays in a row, all right, and they came out in a 2-back set just like this, all right, and they went with their version of zone, inside zone. All right, so they went with their version of, inside zone. They took fullback out and arc released here. They ran bubble out here, stand up block out there, hitch back here. All right, and might have been offset or whatever. They went zone, probably sifted, or depending on what the mic was doing, they probably sifted this end to try and climb to that mic. All right, but they went with a philosophy that was speedball, and it was somewhat along the lines of this 20 personnel play. All right, and they came out, and the first time they ran the play, maybe the ball went to the tailback. I forget the exact sequence of the drive. It was in their bowl game 2 years ago against I don't know if it was against Pitt but it was 2 or 3 years ago. I think Coach Freeze's first or second year there. First play went to the tailback. Second play, the quarterback kept it. Third play went to the bubble. All right, and then the fourth play went back to the X on the hitch. All right, for a touchdown. Not exactly that sequence, but somewhere along the lines of that sequence where they ran the same speedball play and the ball went to 4 different people and they scored on the last one to the X. And when you're watching that and you're looking at it, you're looking at the tempo and you're looking at how fast it is, but because the ball's going to 4 different people, it's kind of hard to tell that that's the same football play. So what they did was they came up in speedball. They ran the same play out of the same formation with the same personnel group, and each time the defense reacted a different way, okay, they just gave the ball to a different player. So as the defense was adjusting on the fly, trying to take away what they were getting, because the ball was being snapped every 8 to 10 seconds, what ended up happening was each time that they did that, all right, they just put the ball in somebody else's hands, so the ball went from tailback to QB pull to bubble. I think they ended up getting maybe a zone pressure, or they didn't have 2 leverage, and the quarterback ripped the bubble. And then they came back and threw hitch on the backside, and I believe it was the X who scored a touchdown, caught the hitch, and went about 20 yards for a touchdown. All right, so that would be your speedball tempo. All right, it would be same personnel group, same formation, running the same play as soon as the ball is set, ready to play from the official. Okay, again, anybody can speedball, anybody can tempo. I think you have to have plays that have answers if you want to successfully speedball. I don't think, could you get up and run power? Yes, you could. Could you run toss? Yes, you could. You could speedball trap. You could speedball any play you want, line up on the line of scrimmage and run that play as fast as possible. But if the defense makes adjustments or changes what they're doing, how does your quarterback handle that on the fly? All right, and one of the ways I say that you handle that is you have some type of option football with a backside built-in throw. All right, and now that you have that, your quarterback can come up and rip all these plays as fast as he wants to, because you know that you've got your theory to the front side, you've got your theory to the back side. Defense can make all the adjustments they want. If your quarterback reads it well and your offensive line blocks it, you should be able to put the football in a place, all right, where obviously you can get in a good situation. Okay, now, by all means, that does not mean that every time you go speedball it's going to be a touchdown or a first down. Obviously, the defense has players, the defense has coaches. They can change their looks, they can stunt to make the reads and blur them up. They can play zero and dog you out, take away the access throw, win the one-on-one battle out there, pressure the zone game, pressure the quarterback. All right. Speedball doesn't equal automatic wins, but what it does is it provides an offense with a way to run things as fast as possible, which gives the defense a chance, all right, to screw up assignments. It gives them less time to get their communication, because remember, the reason this is speedball, the fastest tempo possible, is because there's no communication involved between the coach, the quarterback, and the players. we've called a play in the huddle, we're now running that play, consecutive plays until we decide to kill the tempo. So you've taken the only thing that takes a tempo team 10 to 12 seconds to snap the ball is probably the quarterback and the players getting the signal from the coach, the quarterback's communicating either to the O-line or the backs or however your method is. That's the only thing that takes up 10 to 12 seconds to snap the ball. When you've called the play on the sideline and you're going to run that play as fast as possible over and over again, what ends up happening is you've eliminated that 8 to 10 seconds of communication. So now you could possibly, by the time the referee blows this ball ready for play, you might be able to snap this ball every 4 to 6 seconds, as opposed to snapping it every 12 to 15 seconds. All right, because there is no communication involved. All right, so this is the fastest you could possibly play. All right, again, I think any team could use it. It could be used in any schematic. Doesn't matter what your offensive system is. I just think that the spread option access throw teams, all right, are built into fastball, speedball, tempo a little bit better, because now when the ball gets snapped, the quarterback has multiple options within that play without having to check. Remember, if the quarterback has to check at the line, you're really not in speedball anymore, because you're not going to snap the ball every 6 to 8 seconds. If he's got to come up to the line and he's got to dummy something up, or he's got to change it, and he has to say, hey, wait, hold on, check, let's go, lightning Ringo, or whatever he's got to do. Now that takes time up, so you're really not in speedball. Speedball would be as fast as possible. That means we're not calling plays, we're not communicating, we're not signaling in. Everything we've given to the quarterback and the offense coming off the sideline on the first play of the drive, and they now run that play as fast as they possibly can. Okay? It's something that we've started doing a little bit more of. All right, we're in our 6th week of football now. We got off to a little bit of a slow start. Again, I'm at a new school that I took over in January, so I've only been here 8 months now, and we got off to a little bit of a slow start. So now we're starting to get more comfortable with what we're doing. We've done this the last 2 weeks. This past week we did it for a touchdown. The week before that we did it twice, and we got first downs on both drives. We've done it. So every time we've done it so far, we've been fairly successful doing it. And it's helped us out because it's kept our base offense simple for our kids. And one of the reasons I think we struggled is I probably put too much in with a new team. I probably should have just stayed base, nuts and bolts of the offense. So when we go back to speedball, it allows us to just stay base, option football, access throws on the backside, and our guys have actually done a pretty good job with it. Okay? Remember, as always, the idea is to try and get your kids to play as fast as possible. Speedball tempo will let you do that. Okay? You won't play well until you play fast. See you next time.